I'm Ed Asner. This is where I grew up, the West High District in Kansas City, Kansas. From the earliest days, our town was made up of diverse cultures, and each of us grew up experiencing our own unique culture. Chelsea Heights, Lower Armourdale, Walcott, Maple Hill, East Argentine, Muncie. The city we know today has its foundations rooted in that diversity. For 100 years, we have been a city of heroic people. We've worked our jobs, reared our families, felt good about ourselves, and cared very deeply about our own individual neighborhoods. We all have pride, great pride, in our common heritage.
Said that states should be admitted to the Union free or slave, as the inhabitants should decide. And the Southerners were trying to get in here, but the Northerners and Easterners got in here, and they settled the lower part of Quindara.
We were just a family. We depended upon each other. Our schools were and our churches were the center of our culture.
And everybody from 3 or 4 blocks around would come to play at Sumner High School, on the playground and in the field.
We didn't go to shows very much because we made our own shows at home. My kids and I and my husband were pretty good at, dramatizing and doing things to make pleasures for ourselves. Our lives have been just very ordinary, but very complete.
Well, Clam Park in my growing up years was probably one of the busiest spots in Kansas City, Kansas. It offered so much to all members of the family. It was a very, very important part of family life.
I guess that's the school that I will always be in love with, Northeast Junior High. The center of Kansas City, Kansas, and it was a wonderfully united, friendly, prosperous town. Minnesota Avenue was just like the headquarters of a big family. I sold shoes at Robinson Shoe Company, 550 Minnesota. Everybody in every store knew almost everybody that worked in every other store.
My grandfather and father started Tucker Hardware back in 1897. They came here from Syracuse, New York, said that the country was opening up. The state was the thing. There's going to be a lot of activity in downtown Kansas City, Kansas. They had built the bridge over the river so that it was opening up the central bottoms. Well, it was a going Jesse back in those days.
I've seen Minnesota Avenue when it was flourishing. You could not walk down the street in Minnesota. The people, the cars, the traffic.
This was a magnificent street. It had everything.
Strawberry Hill is maybe the best example of an ethnic neighborhood, an identifiable ethnic neighborhood. Within 10 blocks, you have your Croatian neighborhood around St. John's, you have your Slovenian neighborhood around the Holy Families, and then the Russian church has the Russian around the Russians, and then on 11th Street you have the Serbians, you have the Czechoslovakians on 8th Street.
Some of the older people that were here since 1900 didn't learn much English because the merchants around here were Croatian, grocery stores were Croatian. So were going to school, and then, of course, they learned it from the children. Well, it was an old-time store, just like most of the stores in this area were. And the people in those days didn't come and really pay money. They had a book. And when they bought their groceries, well, you just wrote it down in the book. It was just a closeness. You knew you walked down the street, you knew putting everybody at every house. And most of the time there was no air conditioning. They were sitting out on the porch in the summertime and we said hi and we talked. Sometimes it took you a while to get to places because by the time you stopped and talked to everybody on the way, well, it's time to go back home.
Wash your face and hands. Get out of bed. Wash your face and hands.
The architecture in West Height is quite unique. A lot of this is due to one man's vision, and that was Jesse A. Hole, who was the developer of West Height. Mr. Hole had a vision of a planned community where the homes were set back off the streets, the boulevard was wide, we had ornamental street lighting laced the main streets.
We all had bicycles. There were not very many houses, and when you looked to the east, you could see clear to 18th Street. So we had a lot of open space, and we didn't have all the cars to bother us, and we just rode those bicycles all over. In the evenings, we'd all get in automobiles, cruise around the area. One of the spots that we used to hit was then Zesto's, now Peter's Drive-In. Also, there was a place at 13th and State Avenue called the New Way Drive-In.
Every time I visit this great institution at 25th in Minnesota, my mind flashes to the crowds we used to see hanging from the rafters from 5:30 every evening until perhaps 10 o'clock on the Fridays and Saturdays that we played. This gymnasium could talk. It could tell us a lot of things that went on here in helping young men and women getting themselves ready to take part in the greatest game of all, and that's the game of life.
I'm gonna buy a paper doll that I can call my own, a doll that other fellows cannot.
So this was the end of the Central Avenue streetcar run. This was a regular junction, a real active place. A lot of activity, a lot of people, a lot of business. It was a downtown for this area.
On number 9, that was a pretty nice place. All them firemen up there liked kids, and kids went to them. It was a thrill to visit and play in their driveway up there. And the fireman up there was, you could say, was just like parents to us.
The Flatiron Cafe was in operation when I was a kid too. Homemade pies, I always remember that sign.
In the wintertime, when the snow was on and ice, they closed off, the police came out and closed off Pacific, and all the children in the neighborhood rode sleds, and there's some large hills down there.
City Park is what I remember the most. Going there in the wintertime and sled riding.
This was a good area into the years for a lot of hard-working people that worked at the packing houses and the railroads, and a few other small industries around.
As far as I'm concerned, yeah, it's a good part of Kansas City, Kansas. Armourdale got its name after the Armour Packing Company.
Yeah, a lot of the men were laborers for the railroads. The packing houses, a lot of them worked in the packing houses.
Armourdale, prior to the 1903 flood, was the country club of Kansas City, Kansas.
When I was growing up here, it was like a self-contained small town, buzzing business district on Kansas Avenue, 2 movie houses, 5 residential doctors.
There were 3 major floods. There was a flood in 1844. There was the flood of 1903, and
the disastrous flood of 1951. The 1951 flood completely destroyed the Armadale area. After the water receded, the Armadale people, they come back, they work hard, and Armadale's become again a great area.
Rain arise, 16 coats of rain arise.
I remember the big smokestack that sat there at 22nd and Metropolitan. The settlement that grew up around the Silver City smelter and the railroad in the early 1870s was known as Argentine, the Latin word for silver. My grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side were married in Germany and settled here in Kansas. Well, they settled up in Wyandotte first, and they moved to Argentine and had a grocery store there and a meat market and lived above it. A lot of people worked here. They used to work at the old smelter, and they used to work at the railroad, at the ice company out here, Kansas City Structural Steel. Those were the big companies at that time, steam engines. I enjoyed watching those go. I know many a time I'd sit in Franklin School watching out the window the engines sitting out there puffing the smoke and blowing off steam and whistling.
Johnny, get your gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the run.
Rosedale got its name because of the abundance of wild roses that were growing when they first started it as a city. And the town site of Rosedale was platted in 1872, but it didn't become a city until 1875.
The arch was built in memory of those who served the Rainbow Division of the First World War.
And we had to get up and go to school. And when wintertime come, going down Minnie Hill to school, can you imagine what that was like? Many times we took a cardboard. We sat on top of a hill and slid all the way down because we couldn't stand up.
The Vox Theater, which is now the Westport Sheet Metal. And when I was a kid, that was the theater I went to. And it used to be a community theater, that held a community together also.
There used to be a grocery store on about every corner. And in some blocks, there'd be one or two grocery stores. Neighborhood groceries. It was just a nice place to live in and a nice place to grow up in.
Moses Grinter settled this area. When he built this home, he built it for his family. But in doing so, he left Kansas City, Kansas, a legacy. Moses Grinter was a frontiersman. He had a dream and he found a way to make it happen. Kansas City, Kansas has inherited his spirit, his dream, and his commitment to excellence. Kansas City Kansans are no longer faced with carving out a place in the wilderness. Our challenge now is to find a way to meet the everyday needs of our citizenry. Healthcare, education, the arts, jobs, recreational facilities, the preservation of our environment are all things that prosper when we have a commitment to excellence. Moses Grinter's legacy left us a challenge that we are meeting every day.
I want to take this opportunity to talk to you a little bit about Kansas City, Kansas public and private schools. There's a broad range of curricular offerings in the public and parochial schools in Kansas City, Kansas. This curriculum offers students a fully integrated elementary, secondary, and post-secondary education. Included in this curriculum are programs for highly motivated students, students who are disadvantaged, and programs for everyone that emphasize math and reading skills. There are exemplary programs for special opportunities in the creative and visual arts, programs that develop computer literacy, programs and services for handicapped children, vocational and technical education, and opportunities to participate in highly successful and diversified music and athletic programs. Every student in every classroom in this community can have the experience of being taught by a fully qualified and professional teacher corps representing the various racial and ethnic groups that live here in Kansas City, Kansas. Kansas City Kansans, the citizens, believe purpose of the school ought to be to help youngsters be both independent and interdependent persons. And the blending of this kind of development in young people is founded on the assumption that each individual student living in Kansas City, Kansas is an important human being.
The challenge to provide for some of the brightest and some of the most disadvantaged children in the state is met daily in our schools. How well are we meeting that challenge? Well, we've recently received national recognition for our Chapter 1 programs that provide remedial reading and math for students at all grade levels. Also, Sumner Academy was recognized nationally for their exemplary program for talented secondary students. Our children are some of the greatest people in the state, and the task to provide them an excellent education is the greatest, most important task for me and for society. Recently, our district selected a slogan, the best, doing their best. I would add, for the best, because our children are our best investment in the future.
When a corporation or an individual evaluates an area in which to locate or live, it is not enough to have a skilled workforce, good transportation, and dependable energy and water. People want to know what the quality of life will be in a community. Museums, art displays, performing companies, academic opportunities, and recreational facilities make it possible for a community to be perceived as a vibrant, vital city. But people need to be made aware that Kansas City, Kansas has these quality of life factors within our city. Involvement of the people in a community is a key to the strength of a city's growth. Our area is enriched by the ethnic diversity and talent in our midst. We are not only committed to preserving and promoting the uniqueness of these various cultures, but also in showcasing these groups as a whole to encourage a sense of pride and accomplishment in our community. For the arts do not have a high priority among those without purpose and energy, without vision and hope. I believe we have that vision and hope in our future through the people, the grassroots of this community.
Kansas City, Kansas has a diversified business base with emphasis on manufacturing, distribution, and transportation-related businesses. Businesses large and small in Wyandotte County provide 95,000 job opportunities. Major manufacturing facilities in Kansas City, Kansas produce automobiles, soaps and detergents, pumps, fiberglass insulation, office, furniture, and a variety of food products. Over the past 2 years, business has invested well over $120 million in new or expanded plants and equipment in Kansas City, Kansas. A significant amount which bodes well for the community's future. In addition, our largest manufacturing employer, General Motors, is now investing $1.05 billion in Kansas City, Kansas, building a new world-class auto assembly plant. Although the city's economic base has expanded in recent years as a direct result of an aggressive economic development program, even more activity is expected in future years as a result of General Motors' action and the interest of automotive suppliers in locating facilities here. Kansas City, Kansas' business future is bright. Our pro-business climate, a good program of development incentives, reasonably priced industrial buildings and sites, coupled with a dependable and attractively priced supply of electric energy are all factors which have, in the past and will continue in the future, to contribute to the success of business operations here.
There is more construction going on right now than at any time in our city's history. It's a construction boom. Over $1.5 billion in total construction is going on right now. General Motors is constructing an assembly plant that will rank among the most modern and efficient auto assembly plants anywhere in the world. Colgate-Palmolive is expanding by 90,000 square feet and creating one of the most technologically advanced soap manufacturing plants in existence. Increases can be seen in residential construction. Old homes and buildings are seeing new life breathed into them by people who are committed to the preservation of our city's architectural heritage. New luxury apartment units are presently under construction. New hotel, motel units, and new offices also will have an impact on our economy. Construction on I-670, I-70, the Kansas Avenue Bridge, and I-435 will provide transportation links and accompanying potential for growth that could only be dreamt of a few years ago. Add to this the new public library and new community education building on our community college campus, and you see a building boom unparalleled in our city's past.
It's little wonder that the explorers, Lewis and Clark, chose to camp on the Kansas side of the river. When they crossed the river into the heart of America, they discovered rolling hills covered with maples, oaks, walnuts, and cottonwood trees. Moses Grettir set his home high on a hill where he could enjoy the clear blue skies and the blazing sunsets that made the Kaw River look like a golden ribbon stretched across the grasslands. The Wyandotte Indians use small, cool springs as their source of water. Many of these are located near the present Indian Springs Shopping Center. Today, the citizens of Kansas City, Kansas can still enjoy the beauty that drew the early pioneers to this area. The largest bur oak in the state of Kansas is located on the Kansas City, Kansas Community College campus. If it could describe the beauty of the past 200 years of its life, it would describe the colors of fall, the refreshing rains of summer, and the gentle snows of winter. Wyandotte County Lake is an excellent place to go to see the way we were long ago, because so much of the natural wooded area remains untouched by our settlement. The natural beauty of Kansas City is vital to those of us who live here.
Kansas City, Kansas hospitals have been providing care for residents since 1887, when St. Margaret's Hospital was established. A modern medical complex founded in 1892, Bethany Medical Center offers full service, inpatient, outpatient, and educational care for Kansas City. Some of the specialized services Bethany provides are coronary care, oncology treatment, chemical dependency treatment, home health, family-centered maternity care, and rehabilitation. Active research, comprehensive teaching, and thoughtful patient care describe the University of Kansas Medical Center, serving the area since 1905 through its hospital and the education of health professionals. A focus on teamwork, illustrated by the heart transplant program, makes it possible for the University of Kansas Medical Center to serve the area with the medical discoveries of today. St. Margaret's Hospital, founded in 1887, and Providence Hospital, founded in 1920, combined to form Providence St. Margaret Health Center, formed in 1971, representing a long-standing tradition of quality health care services to the community. The Health Center offers a full range of hospital and community services, including open heart surgery, maternity and obstetrical care, emergency service, and wellness programs for persons of all ages.
Out in the cold world and far away from home, some mother's boy is wandering alone, with no one to guide him and keep his footsteps right. Some mother's boy is homeless tonight.
The city has a very excellent social service conscience and also a social service attitude. Practically everyone who comes forward in search of aid of some kind is served. And there seems to be a coalition, if you will, of these agencies.
Both governmental and voluntary programs are in place to help meet the basic needs for troubled families and individuals. Kansas City, Kansas is very fortunate in having several agencies who work well together to provide services to individuals who find themselves in the bind. Some of the agencies that provide these services are the Cross Lines Cooperative Council, Metropolitan Lutheran Ministry, Catholic Social Service, the American Red Cross, the Salvation Army.
I think that it demonstrates, and you see it demonstrated, in the way people are supportive of the social agencies that are in place to make this a more livable place.
It is very important that these agencies exist because no person should be deprived of the basic human needs necessary to have a meaningful life. Together, we can provide this service.
This is the Granada Theater, built the year I was born. You guess when that was. How long has it been closed? 18, 20 years? It's so easy to look at someplace like this and see the past.